Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I'm Monica, the Kismet Chemist. And if you are new to the channel, I want to say welcome. You are more than welcome to be here. We are so happy to have you. And if you are returning, welcome back. We have missed you. I have missed you. So today we are going to be talking about Lionsgate. Now, Lionsgate portal runs between July 26th and August 12th, which actually in many different theologies constitutes the beginning of the Mayan New Year is August 12th. This is a powerful energy portal day, and a lot of the time the focus is on abundance. And when the focus becomes upon abundance, we can lose sight of what abundance is, what the messages are, how to harness this energy. So last night at midnight, I quite literally started getting downloads, and midnight would be the point in which Lionsgate actually opened on the pinnacle moment for me where I'm at, and I am Central Standard Time. I sat down for about a half hour down in my family room. We have this swinging chair and a little reading nook. And I sat there with my phone. I had my Apple Notes out and I just channeled and got everything through that wanted to come through. And quite literally, it lasted a half hour. At 12:30, the messages were done. And I sat for a moment with Spirit and I said, is this something that I should be filming immediately? Can I sit with this energy? Can I move through it? Can I sleep tonight and bring it forth tomorrow? And it was quite literally a message of the choice is yours. And that comes directly back into what this Lionsgate portal is about. And the reason why we are looking at a kind of deeper aspect of the Lionsgate is because of numerology. Now, if you are not into numerology, please bear with me. If you love numbers the way that I love numbers, when we think about Lionsgate and the pinnacle moment, we have to look at the year. What does the year number tell us? What is this Lionsgate telling us based off of the energy of the overall year? So last year when we went through Lionsgate, it was a 5-year, and 5s are about change. It's about breaking tradition, shifting into something new. And that process takes time. It isn't, in our minds, we think of instant manifestation. It wasn't that. It was an instant manifested change. It was a moment in which we set out on the path for something to change within our lives. However it manifested down the line, that was how it was meant to manifest. Now today we are going into we are in 2022, which means we have a 222, so that's very strong 2s, 4s, but it's also a 6 year. So we have 8s and 6s, that's 2s and 4s. And the messages that I kept getting were S words. Surrender, serenity, serendipity, synchronicity. And then I was picking up Leo energy and Libran energy. And the reason for that comes back to the major arcana in tarot. And in some decks, they go based off of the older principles where the 8th card is not actually the strength card. It's actually the justice card. And the 11th card is the strength card. And what I was getting from that was right now, what we are being called to understand with all of this is we are healing the foundations of connections and bringing a rebalancing into connections, forging new connections, opening our hearts to making new connections through a rebalancing internally by opening ourselves up to unconditional love and harmony with spirit, with the universe, with the divine flow of everything. The Lovers and the 6 cards are also very prominent because when we have a 6 year, we have to think about what it boils down to on the major arcana. Now, the Lover's card can be seen one of two ways. It can be about divine partnership, but it has originally been the card of choice, of decisions. A decision made when you're in balance, when you know that you're moving from an equality between your divine masculine and your divine feminine, is a choice and a decision made from the heart in harmony. And when we think about the Lover's card, then we think about the sixes, the Six of Swords, the Six of Wands, the Six of Pentacles, and the Six of Cups. Those are how we harness these decisions. We look at each individual element, the swords for air and the wands for fire and the pentacles for earth and the cups for water. And we blend these together so that we understand. We understand about an equal give and take with the pentacles. We understand about having to move forward in difficult circumstances, trusting that the path forward is the one we're meant to take with the swords energy. And we understand that the lessons that we learned in our youth and the dreams that we held in our past will lead us to victory using the cups and the wands. And all of that, understanding and blending those elements together are what bring us into that equal energy for today's Lion's Gate and moving forward. Now, as we move forward, we too want to think about the 8, the 12, and the 2022 or the 6 energy. And in that, we have Neptune coming in. Just like I spoke about that 6 of Cups card with our dreams, we now have Neptune. Neptune, who is teaching us sovereignty, who is teaching us to choose from a healed heart, from personal self-compassion, empathy, love, the love that we give to others, the empathy we give to others, the compassion we give to others. Neptune is helping strip away the illusions that we have to give those to others in order to receive it ourselves, and helping us see that we are worthy of receiving those things because we give them to ourselves first and foremost, and then to others. And when we move out of Lion's Gate into the future, if we choose to sit and harness this energy for the next 4 days or so and say, okay, I know this is what my heart is ready for because I have experienced all aspects of it. I've considered all aspects of it. I've sat with it. I've surrendered it. I have found serenity, peace, calm within myself. And all the signs and synchronicities out in the world are 100% aligning to this. Now you know that you can make this decision, that Spirit is saying, I gift you this choice in your life, and you can choose, and I will be beside you for whatever choice you make. And this, though we are in Lion's Gate and it's a portal and it feels magical, it is a heightened energy to help make us aware of what we already have within us. Now, I sat with Spirit last night and I said, help me explain in a way that I can reach more people. Help me explain to them what it is that I'm here to do, why I do what I do. Help me bridge the gap between me and the outside world. Help me open this. And I got this message about explaining chemistry with Kismet. And chemistry is modern day alchemy. It's what the next generation of alchemy became. So to me, chemistry with Kismet is modern alchemy, and it's for ancient souls. It's learning how to work with destiny and fate while still giving them their respect, while still understanding there are pieces and factors out of our control, but that we are meant to flow with the things that happen and the experiences and the places we're called to and the things we're called to do, and just trust, no matter what, that as we do these things, we are bringing forth healing into our lives. And as we bring forth healing into our lives, we bring it out into the outside world. And that's why this necklace is here, this platform 9 3/4. So I'm a huge Harry Potter nerd. And platform 9 3/4 in Harry Potter, it's literally a brick wall. It's a brick wall in between platforms 9 and 10. And you have to have blind faith to run into that barrier, knowing that you will pass through it, knowing that you are safe because it is the proper path. It is where you're meant to go, and it is leading you on a journey forward in your life. Harry initially he was terrified. He watched people just run at a wall and then disappear, and he didn't understand it. And he was told, you have to run in it, but you can't be afraid. You can't be afraid. So what did he do? He leaned into the fear. His mind was telling him, you're going to run into it. You're going to run into it. Everything's going to crash. Everybody's going to look at you. You're going to get in trouble. And instead, he passed through the gateway, through the portal, through to platform 9 3/4. Now, that is what I'm here to help other people do. Understand how to lean into the fear, to move through it, how to alchemize those fears, how to take them and turn them into strengths, how to take your weakness and your pains and turn them into strengths by helping you see how empowered you truly are, helping you empower yourself through telling you my stories, through sharing divine messages. That's what I find passion in doing. I've been gone for a while. One of the biggest reasons I've been gone has everything to do with Chiron's retrograde. Chiron went retrograde July 19th. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that I've been writing these retrograde guidebooks to help other people understand the changing of the zodiac seasons, how to live energetically, how to understand these small pieces of the much larger puzzle of astrology, astronomy, mythology, self-help, divine laws, metaphysical healing, spiritual healing, emotional healing, mental healing, just kind of the whole gamut gets thrown in. And that is the essence of alchemy. And that's what I work with these books. But with these books, what I do is I really do a lot of traveling. It's like time traveling, but I'm in my body and I'm in, my kitchen or my office. And I work through all of the aspects. With Chiron's retrograde, one of the biggest aspects that I picked up is there is this healing of the Emperor, Aries energy, which is the sign that Chiron is currently in. That is the divine masculine within us all. Our divine masculines all are in deep need of healing because our divine masculines have been running and running and running and going and going and going and doing and doing and doing. And so as I started moving into Chiron's retrograde guidebook, I started slowing down. I didn't push myself to finish at a specific time. I dropped the deadline. I said, okay, what do you need? Where am I going? I was led on this beautiful journey. I went to Florida. I came home. I renovated an office. I finished my book and then I sat on it, and I still haven't finished the publication phase yet. That will come when I know that it is time. And I'm not stressing about it because I have learned how to heal my divine masculine who feels as though in a state of fear, he has to do, he has to go, he has to make, he has to forge a path against nature. And we cannot go against nature because then we're going against fate and we're going against destiny. We have to learn how to blend these two together and work with them. And that is what Chemistry with Kismet is. That is also what the planets are teaching us in the skies, and especially Chiron. Chiron is helping us all learn how to see the beauty in all the lessons, how strength of heart brings inspired action, divination returning into the world through healing our origins and our very bloodlines. He's helping us see equality through the art of being different, being opposites. We are finding harmony through blending opposites together and peace through transcending the pains of the past. So that is one huge message that Chiron wanted us all to understand during this Lionsgate phase is there are 5 planets that are retrograde right now. We've got Saturn, Pluto, Neptune, Chiron, and Jupiter. Uranus is next. And all those planets are all calling us to pull in and to heal the inner. They are helping us heal that. And those are the messages I got from the planets. Now, what I got from just kind of everything falling together now, I'm just going to read what I got because it just flowed out of me. And I'll put it actually on the screen so you guys can track where I'm going. I know it's going to be fuzzy, so you're probably not going to be able to see the words. But what I heard is love is creation and fear is destruction. I watched the movie Knowing last night, and in the movie, Nicolas Cage's character talks about premonitions and the gifts of the spirit, prophecy, and knowing when to speak and when to bear witness. Now, this part of this message is 100% for my psychics, for my seers, for my visionaries, for my clairvoyants, for those of you who, like me, have had these visions and these understandings and these knowings of these events happening. Before I move into what it means here, when I say when to bear witness, now is the time that I am able to bear witness. July 21st, I was down in Florida and I had a very vivid dream about a fire and a fire in my home consuming everything. And I remember waking up distraught and I called my husband, who is still back here in North Dakota, and I just talked it out with him. I just talked to him about that fear. I apologize if you guys heard Willow yip. She's playing with Jade. But I talked to him about these things. And what I came to find out is July 22nd, the oak wildfires in California broke out. And I had to sit with that and say, Spirit, was I meant to bring that forth? Was I meant to do something for the destruction of homes, businesses, communities, forests, animals, homes, and animal lives, and trees that are ancient? Was I meant to say something? I'm sorry, guys. This is the part of my gifts that I am working on not having weigh quite so heavily on my heart, but still do. And Spirit said, no, you were meant to bear witness. I said, okay. Again, I called my mom this past Friday and I asked her how her vacation was going. She was down in the Black Hills. And I told her, I said, I don't want to be making this phone call, but I know that you're in an area where wildfires are a danger. And Thursday evening, as I was asleep, I had these dreams of lightning striking and tornadoes and fires and the flames licking at houses and striking houses. And I came to find out that on Friday, lightning strikes had caused wildfires in California again. And these are things that I have experienced in the past and not brought forward and struggled with. Was I meant to say something? Was I meant to bring it forth? But every time I thought about sitting down, I got this sense of like, rest. You need to rest. You're doing so much, you need to rest. And so for those of you who have experienced similar things, all these moments of bearing witness through our visions, through our dreams or psychic knowings, they are documented in the Akashic records. We witness for the story of all. We write the stories of the world, both physically and spiritually, and we are doing divine work through the simple act of witnessing. And then what I heard was, see the blessings through the fires. And I'm sharing this part with you guys, even though it felt like a very personal message to me. I'm sharing this because it's important. Oracles and mystics, shamans and psychics, and the view into the soul. No one is higher than another. No one is more blessed than another. All are equal. All are love. And justice means we are all equally able to find love from within. Now, fire has always been a cleansing tool, a purification tool. From the ancients, from our ancestors, they have used it to purify places and situations, homes, and themselves. Even the archangels work with the violet flame to cleanse, to burn things away. We may not always see the creation of love when we are witnessing something that brings fear and is destruction. But underlying that, we are being asked to understand and to know that there is love in everything in these moments. Now, Lionsgate is all about abundance. With Jupiter retrograded, there is a call to learn of our inner abundance right now. Focus on the inner, for healing of destinies is here now. Uranus is truly working his destined course in the world. We are meant now to see within, so we may find the inner path of creation through conscious collaboration with spirit and the cosmos to work and build together something from the chaos. Now, the reason why Uranus is working his destined course in the world, why that came through in exactly that way, is because I was working through Uranus's retrograde notes, trying to decide if I felt as though I was really truly being called to write it and what it was that I was learning. And Uranus in Taurus right now, Uranus, when it was discovered, had its north node in Taurus and its south node in Scorpio, just as it is now. Just as it is now, that is what Uranus was doing. What Uranus came back into the world, came into our awareness to help us understand that sometimes chaos is what we need for creation. Sometimes chaos is what we need for change, to change the way that we value ourselves in the world, the way that we view the things that we own, possess, inherit, and the way that we see how they, in the physical world, do not dictate our spiritual wealth, abundance, or worth. And we can shed that belief. And when we shed that belief, then our material world becomes that dream we hold. There is a beauty and light to what is occurring in the skies through energies and transits. Or though the energies and transits may be heavy, they are beautiful, for they are meant to open within all the beauty of the soul. As I sit here channeling, I am thinking on Chiron and how his aspects have impacted me and the way in which I shifted my whole being and operating in work and life and connections as I healed through the lessons he brought to my awareness to bring to others. I see how I could have rushed publication, but I wasn't meant to rush it. It was meant to be healed and balanced. The transits are like windows of opportunity. They open, the winds of change blow through, and then they close, and another one comes through with a new opportunity. We don't always know how to work with them in the moment, but the winds touch us regardless, and within our being, the essence of who we are awakens to the truth arising. It will always come back in another form, in another way. And through these books, they come and are placed on pages so that when each one is opened, the window reopens and the lesson, the blessings, the growth and awareness arise once more. That's why I haven't rushed. For healing cannot be rushed nor predicted. It can only be surrendered to. When we surrender, we find serenity. In the state of serenity, we awaken to all of the serendipitous moments of synchronicities in the world. As Lion's Gate opened and has now come to its culmination point, I have received many messages from unusual sources. Katydids abounding in my yard, the return of the wild rabbit who visits my front yard, hawks flying overhead, and the most recent one I saw actually having the subject of its hunt clearly in its beak. Grasshoppers, a daddy longlegs on my bathroom door who stayed just long enough for me to snap a picture and then seemingly vanished into thin air, and a caterpillar, which after nearly 2 hours of research and only 2 online sources with similar pictures, resulted in even experts saying it was a mystery caterpillar. The unknown nature of metamorphosis was the message with that. Trees, and in particular the pine in my neighbor's yard, depositing female cones, which are these right here. These are the ones that came into my awareness, were dropped into my yard. Perfectly upright in my yard as though they were waiting for me. One of which, and I believe it was this center one, was actually the location of the caterpillar that I found, showing that there are connections in all things. Bees and hummingbirds, horses and wrens, so many of the animal and insect kingdom are coming out to speak to us right now. Whispers through the trees as the wind passes through, and a feeling of peace as quick burst rain showers cleansed and broke for the sun to shine through and bring forth life and the message of simply being for a moment. Now, that was the message that I got last night. And all of this has been building and building and building. And when we think about Lionsgate, we think about, or what we know about it is it's an alignment of the sun with Sirius. And Sirius is called the dog star. And what are dogs? Dogs are loyal. And it is no irony to me that during Lionsgate, I got a new dog. But Sirius also wants us to understand how we can deepen our emotional connection to each other. This Lionsgate in particular feels strongly like we need to think about what balance is to us. Because when you come to a reader, every reader has their own frame of reference. See, guys? Every reader has their own frame of reference. So they'll look at balance and say it's possible, it's not possible, it's this way, it's that way. We are meant to do it through this or that or whatever. But it's about how you view it. For me, my life has been out of balance, or had been out of balance for a long time, because I spent so much of my life focusing on others. And then I went through an awakening and focused on myself, and then returned back to focusing on others, and then went through another awakening and learned how to focus on myself. And the second one was when I really got down and dirty and did the work, because I didn't want to lose everything again. I didn't want to go through the same process and not grow through it this time. I didn't want to deny myself who I am, what I'm meant for, and what I'm here to do in the world. I chose the path I'm on because it felt right to me. Every step of the way, I have struggled against myself. I have fought against myself, because who am I to say I'm psychic? I have bits and pieces of memories from my childhood still. So much trauma in my life, and I had blocked out so much, and I have had to work to undig and uncover and allow myself to see the truths. Allow myself to awaken to the truth. I had to embrace who I am and my worth in what I do. And I would go and do these random mediumship reads, or random palm readings, or energy readings, and I would hear how accurate I am. And this last trip to Florida, I had a young woman look at me with tears in her eyes, and she said, "You are a blessing to life." And all I did was pass on a message from her grandfather, giving her permission as though she needed it. And some part of her did needed permission to take her life and the business that he established into her own hands and make it something for herself, make it something more for her family. I was simply the messenger. But as the messenger, I was blessed with the opportunity to change someone's life perspective and self-empowerment and confidence just in that one moment. And it was such a moment of being humbled by my gifts, by my path, by my purpose in this world. But nothing that I have done up to now has had anything to do with not being afraid. I've had to be just like Harry and lean into the fear. We are being asked to learn how to make this choice, to understand that we can bring balance into our lives. I had to accept my gifts and then accept that they're not going to go away if I take a break. If I stop channeling for a day, if I stop filming, my subscribers aren't going to go anywhere. If I stop writing for a week, it's not like the words are just going to disappear. They're there. But my physical body needs rest. My mind needs rest. My heart, my soul needs rest. And I had to teach myself that it was okay to take that break. This Lionsgate, we're being asked to make healthy choices from the heart. Transformative choices. I'm looking at this Lover's card and it says so much in this one card. You've got a reflectionary principle occurring here. We've got the crows, the heart, the physical heart, but also the representation of the center of our energetic body is the heart chakra. You've got the snake representing Kundalini energy. You even have pine trees and the sun. Now I get why Spirit wanted these cards. For others of you, you may be experiencing a lot of starseed information coming through, awarenesses coming through. I know I have, but for me with starseed energy, even though I know that I'm a starseed, I went through a phase in which that got very muddled with fear and unhealthy karmic interactions that I was in, and I couldn't quite see what I was meant to learn. And I'm still working through a lot of that, but I am slowly allowing myself to open more to starseed energies again. It's not always easy for all of us, but we can always make the decision. Do we want to grow? Do we want to flourish? All of those decisions come from knowing your inner abundance, knowing that if you take a break, if you let your divine masculine rest, if you take that break, nothing's going to change. Your life is exactly where it's meant to be at this moment, right here and right now. We have the Hanged Man, Neptune energy, and we've got the poppies down on the bottom and the Seven of Swords. Okay, and then on the back of the deck, we have the Page of Swords. The Hanged Man energy with the poppies and the crow hanging, this is a willing break. It feels like a sacrifice, but it's not. Even if it feels like a sacrifice, it's not a sacrifice for the sake of sacrifice. It's a sacrifice for the sake of rest. Resting in the arms of Spirit. Resting in the comfort of Spirit. Resting in the knowing that everything that is meant for you is right there with you all the time. It is all within you. Now, if you look at these outside energies, everything on the outside of the Lover's card has this kind of dulled down coloring to it. But the Lover's card is vibrant. It is true. It's rejuvenated. until you allow yourself to take that rest, to take that break, to get that change of perspective, you're going to be constantly feeling this Seven of Swords energy as though everything is so deceptive because you're deceiving yourself. Truly, you're deceiving yourself in your own ability to choose your path, to hear your heart, to listen to your heart. And when I touch this Page of Swords, the first word that came through was naive. Naive. It's like you think it's naive to take a break. And guys, there's no judgment here because I'm the same way. You know, hustle culture has really been so deeply promoted. Like, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to make it big on YouTube, it's not going to be just, it's not just going to happen. You have to hustle. You have to film daily. You have to produce. You have to be there. You have to give. But when you are in that constant state, your divine masculine gets so worn out. That energy turns into that Seven of Swords because it becomes deception. If you rest, you'll lose. If you rest, it'll go away. If you rest, you won't be seen. You won't be heard. If you rest, you won't know. If you rest, everything will fall apart. And it's an illusion. It's an illusion. And you give the illusion power if you feed into it. So we want to bring balance here. And in order to bring balance, we have to recognize our very own sovereignty and say, enough is enough is enough. And I'm not going to keep going, and I'm not going to keep fighting, and I'm not going to keep listening to anybody else outside of myself and my body and my spirit and my heart and my connection to spirit and my spirit guides. I am taking it to the team, not taking one for the team anymore. I am taking it to the team, and I'm saying, this is what my body is saying. This is what my heart is saying. This is what my soul is saying. And doing that because it's time to heal that aspect 100%. Now, what just popped out is the Karma card, the card 20, which is also the Justice card. Or not the Justice, I apologize, the Judgment card. And you can see there's an eclipse here, and they're holding their hands together, and they are allowing the power and the energy of the eclipse to come in, just like we're being asked to allow the energy to come in, because karmic cycles are hard to break, and particularly in the world with this karmic cycle that the divine masculine has been in, it's so difficult to break. But we can do that by listening to our own hearts. That is what constitutes the judgment call. We have the Five of Wands, again, which feels like it needs to be right here with the Seven of Swords. Now, the Five of Wands can be seen as training, or it can be seen as competition. But what if you were your own competition? See, this is something that I realized about myself. I was afraid that if I were to ask another creator to do another collaboration, they would see it as, well, I don't want to collaborate with her because of her subscriber count, or I don't want to collaborate with her because I feel this way about her, but I don't want to help your channel because I'm in direct competition with you. But none of us are in competition with each other. There are, 6-7 billion people in the world. There is not one reader that is meant to read for every single person in the world. We are all meant to read for who we're meant to read for. And we've got the Justice card again. This is what we have to understand, is that there is a balance to all of this. But it's our own mentality that makes us feel like we have to do that. And with the divine masculine being out of balance, then we get in competition with ourselves. Like, oh, last week I filmed X, Y, and Z videos, and I did this, and this. So this week I should be able to. But that's not how it works. That's not how the energy works. And this Lionsgate portal is helping us understand that our energy is abundant, but our physical bodies have limitations. And we can respect the limitations of our physical bodies, by listening to them and by understanding that the energy is always going to be abundant because we are inherently abundant. So if we continue to go down this path, we damage our physical bodies. And when we damage our physical bodies, we cannot continue that path forward. That's how you get into those karmic situations, those karmic entanglements, because you're not listening to yourself. You're constantly putting yourself into this place of, I need pressure on me. I need to keep going. I need to do this. I need to do that. But you have to balance work and play. You have to balance play and rest. You have to bring balance into your life. I can honestly tell you guys, for the first time in 4 years, I feel like my life is on the most even keel it has been. All because I surrendered to whatever spirit was guiding me to do. Because I said, I can't figure this out on my own. I can't do this on my own. I am so tired. I am so exhausted. Please help me. Help me find a sense of peace and understanding. Help me find my serenity. And that's when spirit helped me find it. And I found it through Chiron's retrograde guidebook, ironically, through writing it, through experiencing the lessons. This Lionsgate, the abundance that we're getting is this balance, this karmic rebalancing, this understanding and different perspective, this rest to see that we are the light, that we have the power within us. It is not naive. The ideas and the notions and the insights that you have are not naive. Who you are is not naive. Okay, Spirit, do we have any closing messages? What can we hope for? Okay. I shuffled, and when the Justice card popped out, the 6 of Cups was on the bottom, and there it is again. And I apologize if you guys can hear my dogs. They're crazy. I just was asked to grab an oracle deck. Give me one moment. All right, so we're actually going to be working with 2 different oracle decks. First, let's find out what astrological energies we're being called to deepen our connection with, to understand the abundant nature of. Spirit and guides of the highest light, can we please find out what messages from Lionsgate we are being asked to become aware of the abundance within the universe? Okay, we have the 4th house and home. It's the card 42, which again reduces to 6. I have this new app. It's I think it's Moon Calendar, and I have found this peace and love with it, but it also has an offshoot app that is a mandala app, and it will show you the mandala for your location, but also for your chart at any given point in time. It's quite beautiful. And then I'm not surprised at all. We have Aquarius and collaborate. And on the back of the deck, we have Venus and beloved. So this is a calling here to think about how we can collaborate within our home, how we can move with others and flow with others to bring peace and to bring harmony into our home. And where is the home but the heart? You say home is where the heart is. That's absolutely the truth. I'm seeing peonies, I'm seeing pomegranates, and honeybees. If any of you have been seeing these, this is a confirmation for you. If you have been seeing rings, frisbees, some of you may like very unusual things where it's been repeating and you're like, is that a message or is that just like a coincidence? Yeah, no, if you're seeing a lot of frisbees, that's a message from the universe. But I can't divine that for you, apparently. That's something that is, I just heard personal, deeply personal. So how can you collaborate with with your spirit guides and your team? How can you work together to bring more peace into the home? Aquarius energy and the fourth house don't always seem to be a blended energy. And ironically enough, I believe, if I'm not much mistaken, give me. Yeah. In Uranus's discovery chart, Aquarius is in the fourth house. However, it contains Pluto, not Venus, but that's for another time. But that did come through. So have you guys been experiencing, like the chaos of anything and everything within the home front or with your family members, with your sense of safety and security, with the things deep within you? Now is the time where you can really learn how to blend things together and to work together with others. It's like this portal is about the abundant nature of our hearts. Spirit, what else do we have? No. Okay. Oh, there we go. All of them? Yes. Okay. So we have wonders in crystal. And with this, you can actually literally see the galaxy. What did I say about fire? We have purification, love with the lovers, and relaxation. Thank you so much, Spirit and guides. Thank you so much. I love when they have these beautiful, beautiful confirmation points in time. On the back of the deck, we have trust. Yes, and that is the essence of it. Right now, we're not going to necessarily see. It's not like something is going to pop up into our awareness. Oh, look, there's peonies here. Wow. Okay. Sorry, distraction. But when we talk about instant manifestation with the Lion's Gate, it's literally like the universe. You make that decision. You say, this is what I want. This is what I know. And this is what I'm going to do. And you learn how to love yourself, how to purify yourself. What you're doing is you're stepping into a state of trust. You step into that state of trust when you relax into the flow. That's when you see the wonders of everything, in everything, for everything. This purification of love, it's in the whole of the cosmos, but it's within each and every one of us. Come here. Let me show you. Guys. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi, Willow. So we have Willow here, and she's just kind of running around, soaking wet. And I lost my Molly dog. We had to put her down in March of 2021. And it was very hard. And my daughter, she got Jade. She got Jade months afterwards. August, I believe. But my heart wasn't ready to heal. My heart wasn't ready to move on. And somehow I just knew I was ready for a puppy. I knew I was ready. And as soon as I knew I was ready, I had made that decision. I knew the kind of puppy I wanted. Literally it like fell into my lap. Spirit was like, okay, go here, go here, go here, find this. And these puppies were located like 2 weeks or 2-3 blocks away from my house. You want to go play? Okay. One moment, guys. All right, I'm back. So these puppies were very close to where I live. But if I spend so much time at home, constantly working at my desk, not engaging with the world, I wouldn't know. It never would have entered into my awareness. Spirit wants us to learn that relaxing means going out and experiencing life, interacting with others, because that's how we realize the abundant nature that we have within ourselves, but that the universe has for us. That's how we heal and purify this love and discover the wonders within our hearts, our souls, and the cosmos. What is it that you love so deeply that you're clinging so tightly to because you're afraid that if you don't keep going, keep doing and fighting and struggling for it, that it's just going to go away? Whatever that is, relax into it. Trust. Trust that it is yours. Watch the universe open for you. Spend time during this Lion's Gate purifying your heart, purifying your soul, opening your heart to love, because love is here and it is ready in every form, especially love for you from the universe, love for yourself from within. That's what this Lion's Gate is for, the abundant nature of love. And it is a beautiful thing. Ready.